Hi, my friends and family. Hope you're doing well today. And beautiful. Finally feels like southern weather. Carolina here. I'm going to tell you about Sam's lightsabers. Handle lightning with care. This video is about Sam Vaknin and the concept of narcissistic personality disorder and the explosion of its popularity on YouTube and how this has affected the world and might have affected you. Oh, whoa, 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 I thought you now that I feel like I almost died in your arms today. It must have been something I had to say. I gotta roll away. I gotta roll away. Sam's lightsabers. Handle lightning with care, folks. I and thee. Are you screwed over by narcissistic personalities and even by the popularity of talking about it? Who is Sam Vaknin? He's a man, he's born in Israel, and I believe he was doing several years for embezzlement when he was younger. On the high bunk bed of his prison cell, he wrote a book called Malignants of Love, Narcissistic Personality Disorder Revisited, and it came out in 1996. So right around the so-called millennium, we had this gradual explosion of this phenomenon on YouTube of hundreds of people that are got thousands of subs just talking about this one thing. And I would be one of the only people who has 91 subscribers who would make videos about narcissism that got 2 or 3 views because of shadow banning, which is really very narcissistic itself when you think about it. So I am not a licensed psychologist, but I probably watched thousands of videos on this subject on YouTube. I'm what Sam called a self-styled narcissistic expert of narcissism from my own little minuscule experience being a covert narcissist, healing from it myself. I'm only partially kidding. I was watching a Jordan Maxwell video today, and so I bring that level of disclosure to I bring a little bit of remembrance of the source. I encourage you all, including myself and all of our subconscious minds, to always consider the source of this garbage behavior and why we must overturn and realize also that this is something I didn't write on my note here. The Decepticons, I've had comments deleted off YouTube where I exposed on some of these people's channels that it is the personality of Lucifer, and that's why YouTube encourages so many people to never think about it when they say go no contact. Never think about how much harm it's going to cause that person's soul or your own. To never say your piece. Carlos Castaneda, I read all his books when I was younger. One of his books said erase personal history, and I thought that's really short-sighted. But then I got into the Toltec path of recapitulation, and of course this could be construed as very narcissistic as well. But reframe personal history. The path of recapitulation, we learn to think about history in a different way. Think about it. So if you have a narcissistic, extremely, or a mother or brother or sister possessed by narcissistic predator entities, it's not necessarily the best idea to never talk to them again, but you might need to stonewall. You might need to learn to have distance. So, I've watched hundreds or even thousands of these videos on YouTube. Some of my favorites were Richard Grannon, Dr. C, Jerry Wise, Tim Fletcher. It really helped me a lot. But I want to list for you right now so that even if you're too lazy to think about this next time you accuse somebody. Probably every one of you that wanted to disown me for accusing you, you were probably exhibiting over 5 of these traits. So I was actually now I'm not saying I believe in the DSM-V, but some of the research that they use, like for this, for example, I think it's helpful to know that these things, I believe this one, some of their illnesses exist. So according to the DSM-V, you need 5 of these 9 traits to be actually have narcissistic personality disorder. It's a lifelong pattern of exaggerated self-importance. Okay, so you have number 1, grandiose sense of self-importance. Do you think is your hubris out of control? Do you have a crazy amount of thinking you're the best ever? Number 2, are you preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, beauty, power, love? Number 3, do you believe that you're special? Somehow, do you have this running dialogue that you're better than other people? Number 4, this really shows you, do you require excessive praises? Like, see, I wouldn't have been able to make 400 videos if I had this really bad, because I had the CIA censors delete most of the praise. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not sure if I'm kidding, but it was only through being partially narcissistic that it helped me to do this, but not having full-blown. I don't have the full-blown thing, really, I don't think of. But it was thrusted on me so far, so deep into the subconscious, I might still have some shadow work to do with it. Okay, number 5, fantasies of unlimited success. It's a sense of entitlement. Are you interpersonally exploitative? Do you like to exploit others? But the one that really gets me, that really lets me know that somebody might really have this horrible, deadly, or soul-sucking personality of Lucifer destroying their life, is they lack empathy. They can't really feel any, they only have what's called cognitive empathy. They can't actually feel your pain or someone else's struggle. They only through, Dr. C says they're transactional. If it'll get them money or some attention, then they might consider feeling it. And then, of course, they're arrogant and haughty. They're always shoved up their own ass a whole lot, always full of garbage, arrogance, and haughtiness. Again, it might be fully hubris based on nothing but bullshit or just fake, but it's actually the opposite of self-love, especially if they have nothing to back it up. Those are your 9 clinical definitions of narcissistic personality disorder. It's different than being narcissistic, again, because this is the personality of Lucifer who's behind all the mainstream media. Most of us have some degree of narcissism built in, and Sam made a great video last week about borderline personality disorder, which is actually the mirror image or the opposite of narcissism, what you call the pushover Pollyanna or empath, who's suffering from a depletion of self-esteem socially on the outside, externally. And I think I've often suffered from this, having depression or so-called depression as a young person. I often suffered more from this, having the Motown brainwashing from Berry Gordy that I needed that beautiful woman or that ganja or whatever, that thing outside of myself to feel that, or self-confidence that the narcissist pretends to get from trying to steal your energy. Studying narcissism on YouTube, becoming a self-styled YouTube PhD, this started to alienate me from friends and pseudo-friends and acquaintances and even semi-famous or famous acquaintances by just having this in the back of my mind, this person is, possessed by the narcissistic predator entities, as I call them, and but then it is especially there with the famous or pseudo semi-famous folks, because just even getting up there with popularity, it builds your ego and some of these clinical terms of grandiosity and self-importance, right? Carlos Castaneda's teacher Don Juan always warned against self-importance. In fact, I believe after Castaneda had sold like 30,000 books or so, Don Juan told him to get a job, and this was the 1970s when that meant some money, enough to support himself. He said to get a job as a short order cook in a restaurant and stay in the cheapest motel room in town. Again, you know, I can't stress this enough. The voices in your head that are derogatory, especially if they tell you to control and manipulate others or to put others down and to feed off that. Again, it's the opposite of self-esteem. People are mistaken. They're idiotic if they don't look deep enough to realize that people with real N.P.D don't have any self-esteem. They have a sense of emptiness, similar to my feeling of depression as a young person, but it's worse because they don't have empathy. So it's like a black hole. It's really sad. So it really is an epidemic, and so in a way, it's understandable why there's hundreds of people on YouTube probably who build thousands of followers and subscribers, and people like Dr. Ramani who have over a million subscribers just talking about this one thing. But I think she and some of these other people like Narc Daily, you know, are making a job out of it and getting obsessed with they're basically like frontline generals in the psychological war against Lucifer's personality. This is where the CIA and Google CIA is kind of like not really on the side of evil. On the other hand, you know, and they again, I think they make the rules as they go along, depending on how much they feel like, again, that you or me are as a threat. If they can hide enough of my videos that I don't influence the populace, I can even talk trash into getting a few more views. But you know, as the result of being a Gnostic teacher here on YouTube and having an Odyssey and Rumble, uploading hundreds of videos about the Christ awareness here, and as well as being in the process, unfortunately, of still doing the shadow work to get these garbage personalities of Lucifer out of my subconscious. I'm not there 100%, I'll admit it. Having clear, covert, or collapsed narcissism clearing it all out of my subconscious. Many folks think I'm an egotist or a hypocritical preacher, you know, or just refuse to listen to anyone who doesn't earn a lot of money or at least take care of all their own bills in a capitalist society. You know, I'm over here, you know, sponging off my brother, you could say, staying with my family for a little while. Between these bloodkins here and YouTube and all the folks who work at YouTube and all the citizens of Santa Cruz, I would say, you know, I would think it was everyone that is a borderline or a narcissist. So, you know, it takes a while to get it out. And service helps. Selfless service. And like Las Vegas, unfortunately, Santa Cruz, California, has 1 out of 10 people take out their own life, 10% suicides. A funny thing, although I'm still not so great at the essential brevity, it's pretty easy, although it is a judgment, and thus I may be very wrong to say that, but to me, you know, unless they're trying to stonewall me or too popular to read their comments, which, how could you not be a narcissistic person if you have that? Again, N.P.D is not the same as being narcissistic. It's still narky to not read your comments. Some people get thousands of comments. I go by those who will never respond to my comments as a pretty blatant sign that they're a freaking narcissist, man, or they have N.P.D, at least mildly. If they're too worried about what people think to say thank you or give me a heart when I put loving words on their videos, it's like, well, fuck, man, what other sign do I need? Man, I'm talking about people who don't have 20 million views, especially. They're either narcissist or suffering from N.P.D. But humans, or the not so possessed by NPEs, will respond, at least say thank you or put a heart or something, you know. Unfortunately, they are the exception. While I understand the concept of stonewalling, it sucks to receive it. Nobody likes being stonewalled, but especially if you reside in the house with a narcissist or a heavy person with that suffering from that. Hey, you know, if you're not a fucking idiot, sometimes you realize or for days or weeks or however long you're there, if you're not going to be a fucking moron, maybe you should not say anything to that person, huh? YouTube censors, for example, are very closely controlled by Lucifer, the Luciferians, the CIA agents. So they're probably, majority of them have heavy N.P.Es. That's why they have to hide my videos. Rather, I mean, if they put my videos on all 91 subscribers page every time I uploaded a video, I'd get a lot more views. Okay. And it can be, if you're somebody like me who tries to upload content about the truth onto this Google, CIA, YouTube, it can be disheartening or depressing if you take it personally, but obey the 4 agreements if you have the courage, and don't take the shit personally. It's just, I've seen beautiful channels like Natural Born Talents and only have a 1,500 subscribers, and he quit making videos. It's like, brother, please, if you're watching this, make some more videos. Fuck them, man. Keep sharing your amazing art with us, you know. Don't be discouraged by Lucifer's garbage, powerful control. Since around 20 months after YouTube was invented, Google purchased it, and somewhere in there, all the 150 CIA, NSA people moved in to work, or beings got jobs there, okay? It's a fact. I did something really socially naive and stupid. I mean, I think he does a great job with his book. I read most of his book, The Greatest Superstition, and I'd recommend it. And he does a great job of explaining the truth about the government to normies, but, he's got a very sexy looking, beautiful, redheaded wife, and, the hubris that goes along with, suffering from N.P.D, I think probably is what it is, but I was stupid to do it, I'll admit, naive, but because he made a video, he said in his video that he didn't watch any of the other speakers at Anarchapulco, and his response to me was that I prefer to talk to the little guys, to talk to the crowd and sell his books, and but I said, man, I would edit that part out of the video because you just exposed that you have N.P.D. And his response was this: if you make up shit and then argue against it, how do you expect me to take you personally? I mean, take you seriously? And it's like, well, my response to that was, well, this pretty much shows that this man suffers from narcissism, you know? And I mean, like I say, his books are good, but I can't even really stand to watch his videos unless it's a really good one, because he's so narcissistic. It's just, he can't really let a word in edgewise, and that's when you know that somebody, and it's sad because he really is he really does have a good grasp of how to explain the principles of respectful anarchy to normies. So to encapsulate, if you study narcissism on YouTube, especially a lot like me, you got to be careful to wave the lightsaber, like using the term narcissist. And if you're still narcissistic and you're using that word, it could be that you're trying to grab the lightsaber, Sam Vaknin's lightsaber, by the fucking end that's going to burn you on the hand. Okay? If you're doing that, you're really being idiotic. So what I'm saying is that if you're still a narcissist and you try to call other people a narcissist or use this word, again, the word has is and ass in it also. Notice the etymology that, they had to, the phonetic, the word pirates who made up this word had to put is ass in there too. I think that's why a lot of people don't even want to say the word is and ass, So don't grab the lightsaber by the wrong end if you're going to try to describe someone as a narcissist. And be careful, if you're really going to, especially you're going to be an idiot if you say it to their face and they have it bad. But at least make sure they have five out of 9 of the DSMV's terms if you want to describe it to them to your friend when you're trying to. Don't even talk to your friends about this. That's triangulation. That's what narcissists do. You need to. if you suffer from this, you might need to talk to a professional, okay? Sam even, I was watching an early video of Sam, and he even called, in the early days, trying to sell his book, he even called them like robots and aliens. So, and he's never contradicted me when I put comments on his videos that it was the voice of Lucifer, the voice of the aliens. But Sam Vaknin, has never responded to any of my comments, which again is like, well, duh, he admits to being a narcissist, and he also is one of those people that says once a narcissist, always a narcissist. So I'm not sure what the answer is. Again, can you turn down or eliminate or get someone to turn off the radio station 666 that makes them a self-possessed fucking moron who wants to harm others psychically and psychotically, psychosocially? If they're really a born-again Gnostic or a born-again enlightened Buddhist master, will they somehow feel empathy again, you know? Well, yeah. So I don't know. It just depends on the individual and the situation, I guess. But, you know, Sam is also a Jewish psychologist who literally has been handing the world a lot of free jewels in the form of thousands of videos on how to heal this horrible epidemic, and of course being the grandfather of this phenomenon of exposing it, and still exposing it even more. You know, I'll admit, he like anything, the cliche runs true on this, folks. The more, you know, Sam makes videos, the more he dials in, a lot more than there's people on there that have 2, 3, 4 times the subscribers he has, who do a much more crappy job, but it's because, you know, they're more compelling, or they're a woman, or they're, you know, more likable, really, is what it is. So Sam Vaknin is a Jewish psychologist handing the world a lot of free jewels on YouTube, or a lightsaber, not a halo. If you are a narcissist, or using these jewels to cut them down rapidly in this psycho war, you could cut almost everybody in your life away at once if you're indiscriminate about this, you know? And so, or you could get your own hand sliced. So, you know, learn to discern when you're using the word narcissist, or especially narcissistic personality disorder. Learn what that means. Learn the 9 traits. And you know, on this same topic, the one video series that a man made about Lisa Renee is about collective narcissism, which is uber ironic, because I love Lisa Renee, but she's another person that didn't respond to my email, I believe, because of the same dynamic of collective narcissism. And so, but she does a great job. She's done a wonderful job, whether she's a walk-in or not. 96% of all walk-ins and of all people who channel ETs are going to have some little bit of misinformation. In her case, it might just be a little bit of hierarchy and covert narcissism or collective narcissism. Beside that, man, she's got a heap of wonderful healing, disclosure, and discerning information. Okay? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and why believe anyone 100% unless you're gullible? Okay, so this comes from the brilliant, a little bit weird, a little bit kooky, brilliant spiritual teacher, Lisa Renee. Okay, supposedly channeled material here. This is her list of spiritually abusive or archontic deception behavior. In other words, these are the behaviors that the archons, through the Luciferians, through the Illuminati, particularly through the mainstream media in the last century, have popularized. Although since the Brotherhood of the Snake in Atlantis, they've been gradually building it up to popularize this shit now. This is the behavior, the garbage behavior of Lucifer that folks accept as reality, but it's just the bullshit, false reality of the archonic behavior, or archontic deception behavior is what she terms it. Okay, number 1, disassociation and narcissism. Interesting that she put those two as one thing. Number 2, mental rigidity. Number 3, Emotional fracturing. Your emotions have broken you up. Number 4, carelessness. This is why the booze spirits can really harm people a lot of times. Number 5, deceitful. Anytime we deceit, we're going into that fake personality of the narcissistic personality of Lucifer. Number 6, dependence. It's one I'm still, having to work on. So send me some money if you're wealthy and this is helping you to heal. Number 7, false reality delusions. Believing in the matrix, the false reality. And that's why I talk about narcissism so much, is because borderline and narcissism are the yin-yang of how the deceiver locks us into this pattern of the little me, the ego, the only thing that exists is you and your wife and kids, the fake-ass idea of social Darwinism that you have to fight every other man for a scrap of the pie, and we can never build communities. I could never live in a community. These other people here can never live in a community of more than 2 people in a house. We're lucky if we can do that, if we suffer from this, because we'll be fighting each other, trying to suck off the energy rather than working together. There's no oneness in the N.P.D. or N.P.Es. Lucifer doesn't know any oneness. He thinks of it as a delusional flaw. I made several videos back about that. That's how fucking spiritually retarded the destroyer angel is, man, okay? So, number 6, dependence. Number 7, false reality delusions. Number 8, divided competition. Again, this is the personality of Lucifer trying to make us compete over everything. There's a reason why only Laura Eisenhower and Dr. Bruce Lipton and Chuck Swindoll would respond to me and be my friend and respond to my comments, because they're 3 out of dozens of friends and acquaintances I talk to online and in person who are not possessed by their fucking ego enough to treat me as with equanimity or as a fellow truther, a fellow disclosure person, okay, teacher. Okay, but on the beautiful side, Lisa also has put an antidote to archontic deception behaviors, okay? Number 1, empathy and compassion. As I said in the part about the narcissism, they can't feel any empathy. This is, to me, as a person who suffered from being an empath when I was younger, with no boundaries and no energy shield, this can be the most overt sign that they suffer from this, okay? So, empathy and compassion. Number 2, mental openness. The person who has really bad N.P.D, well, they're never going to listen to you, man. They're never going to be open to the ideas you get from my show, man. Number 3, emotional stability instead of fracturing and breaking up. Number 4, responsibility instead of being dependent. Okay? Taking care. And, even if you are disabled and suffering like from horrible illnesses like I have, you can still learn, like I did, to have a one-man band. You could figure out something you can be responsible for to rebuild the healthy part of your ego, or what Carl Jung called individuation, okay? Number 5, honesty. Rather than being a fucking idiot who obeys Lucifer and being deceptive, you can be respectful and honest. You can choose to make your interactions with other people honest if you have that courage and discernment to break out of that horrible matrix Luciferic programming. Number 6, sovereignty, of course. Take care on adding to this, responsibility. Number 4, sovereignty means you are the king of your own mind, your own thoughts. You are in charge. You're not just taking responsibility for being a good slave. You're in charge of what your vision for your life, where your energy is going, okay? Ideally. Sovereignty means, I've been able to take sovereignty over some parts, and it's very liberating when you can even just take sovereignty over what you believe in, or be truth in, as I call it instead. Number 7, reality assessment, or what Sam Vaknin or the psychologists call reality testing. Somebody with narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder or a psychotic, they can't tell the difference between what's real and not. And again, it's challenging for a lot of them because they're programmed by the Matrix to think time is money, and that they have to be a slave to time. Number 8, unified cooperation. Instead of fighting over everyone for every inch of space and every bit of energy, you realize that we're all, like I said, every 3-year-old with respectful parents knows we're all sharing this planet. And so since we're all one family in reality, we need to have cooperation. And the thing Lisa didn't add, that because I think she does suffer from collective narcissism to some degree, that I would add equanimity, the great Buddhistic, Oriental Buddhist concept. It was one of the 4 immeasurables: friendliness, joy, compassion, equanimity over hierarchy, or what the angels, what the angels force you to be under them. If you enjoyed this video, if you haven't already, click on subscribe. Follow me on Odyssey if you want even more of a bloody red pill, or Rumble. You know what? If you have the courage, create a great day, my family. Loving you. Peace.